Hi everyone, we're on my front porch this morning. Welcome to the Front Porch Knitter. I'm just going to let you have a quick look there at my garden, which is a kind of a scruffy mess, which is actually what I want it to be, because that is how it looks for all my pollinators and things. So I'm okay with that. And I have lots of bees coming in still, a few butterflies, the odd hummingbird, but it's that time of year here in southern Ontario where those guys are all starting to leave. So let me see if I can turn this around so it faces me again. Hi! Yeah, I thought you might like to see a little bit of my garden, so hopefully that is in ahead of this. And pretty exciting. This is episode 13 of the Front Porch Knitter, and I am Lucy-Ann, the Front Porch Knitter, and we are on my front porch today. I tried so hard to do this yesterday, but the wind came up, and so I'm out here a little earlier because I was all ready. I didn't have to do any prep this morning because I had it all ready for yesterday, which was great. So yeah, it's been summer's been crazy. Fall is starting to settle in. And I'm looking forward to, just some relaxing times, although there's all kinds of stuff going on, which we'll talk about as we go. Let's get started with the knitting. So, finished objects. I sort of, when I was getting ready to do this episode, in my head, I go, I don't have very many finished objects. Like, there's just not much going on. I've been busy. I haven't done much. And then I went, as I started gathering things together, I did an, oh my goodness, what the heck was I thinking? Apparently, when life is crazy, I stay up late at night and knit. Who else does that? I'm sure other people do it too, because I can't be the only one. Oh, let me show you what I'm wearing. So I realized I had shown this Tolsta. This is the Tolsta by the Creabea, Rebecca Clow. And I know it might be Clow. I'm not sure. C-L-O-W. I'd shown this as a work in progress, but I don't think I ever showed it as a finished object. So this is it. I can't really stand up because I'll knock everything over, but I'll do it's a bit cropped, just comes to my hips. It does have the wider neckband that the Tolsta does have. And this is knit from yarn that I had a couple of balls, I think 2 and a bit balls left of Lion Brand cotton jeans from my Autumn League pullover from last fall. And this is, and I won't be able to remember the name, Granada maybe, Sheepius Granada, in a red color that I picked up at Value Village, which is a thrift store here in Canada. And I had just enough to make this top. A little bit of yarn chicken, not too much. And it hits me just at the hips, so it's, which for me is a tiny bit cropped. I have a very short body and long legs, so I often wear my tops a bit longer to make my body look more balanced, but it's comfortable. And you can't tell, so I had it on yesterday because I was going to record. This is probably the 4th or 5th time I've worn it without washing it. It does not smell at all. I checked, but it's also held its shape really nicely. And I do know that once I wash it and lay it flat to dry, and with a lot of my cotton sweaters, when they're almost dry, I throw them in the dryer for just like 5 or 10 minutes it sort of fluffs up the fibers a bit more, because cotton can go flat. But I've worn this a ton this summer, and it is so cozy to wear, and not a cozy in a warm way, but just it's soft and comfy, and yeah, I love it. And last episode you saw my one I did with hemp, and it also needs to be washed right now. I wore it on the wedding weekend, more about that later, and it looked great with a pair of white jeans, and yeah, it was wonderful. And so I'm excited about these Tolstas. There may be another one in my life. Just saying. So let's check out some of my FOs. So in the last episode, and if you didn't see it, go back and have a look. I had made these double, I think it's called double toffler. They're double knit slippers, and it's a Sandisgarn pattern, and it is free on their, I'm pretty sure it's free on their website, but only in whatever the language that the yarn is from, Swedish maybe. I just copied it into my notes. On my phone, and then did Google Translate and went from there. But you can see now that they're felted, they actually look like they'll fit someone's foot. My big debate is, do I needle felt a motif on the front of them? I haven't decided that yet. So they might not be finished, they might be almost finished. And if I do needle felt on them, I will let you know. I have also thought about putting a suede sole on them, just because we have hardwood floors and hardwood, well, laminate, but hardwood stairs. And although these are very comfy and cozy, I think they'll be a bit slippery on the stairs. But I washed them, and I have a front load washing machine, and I just kept checking them. And when I thought they'd felted enough, I then put them on my feet and I left them there for about an hour and just knit and watched TV. And then I just set them over. We keep the fan blowing all the time on our furnace to circulate air. So rather than, because they're thick, really thick, rather than have them take a long time to dry, I just put them over one of the vents so that air was moving around them all the time, and they dried pretty quickly. They are very comfy. They're very cozy. They do collect, you can't really see it because I got most of it off. They do collect dog hair when you wear them, but they are, and I love this color. It's such a beautiful cranberry. I think, I know for sure I'm making one more pair. I may be making more pairs of those for Christmas. I'm not sure. They knit so fast because you use such a big needle and it's fairly thick yarn. And now that once I do a couple of pairs, I might be able to switch up the yarns, because that is Sandisgarn, Frittisgarn. Better get my book out. Why am I trying to do it from my head? Yes, Frittisgarn, felted. And the color was just a number. I don't know what it was. It's a nice sort of cranberry red. So that was one finished object. Then, oh, I forgot my sock blockers again. You guys can just fire me. Like, I obviously don't know what I'm doing. If I'd recorded yesterday, these would have been a whip. But because I was gathering everything up, I pulled the bag out and I went, oh my goodness, I have like 10 rows left to do. Like, I think I just had to do one repeat of the pattern and the toe, and it was done. These are a sock of my own design. You've seen them a bit because I've done them in a couple of colorways. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to write it up. It's because it's a type of rib, they're very snug fitting and they feel really nice, and they have a lot of give. So I also knit them in 60 stitches instead of 64, and they're great. And yeah, I do like them. And this is like inexpensive. I might have the yarn. Let me see if I can find the yarn label. But they have this really nice texture pattern on them, which from a bit back almost looks like a cable. If I do write the pattern up, I already have a name. So I don't know. And I have partridge heel on these, and I don't usually do a heel flap and gusset, but I did think that if I was writing it up, I should test it that way just to see how it works. And you could obviously add any heel you wanted. But so those are done, and that yarn, we have talked about this. This is how much is left. So They are a little shorter in the leg than I normally do a sock, and I don't know I don't know why. I guess maybe the day I was knitting the first one, I decided I wanted to do the heel flap, so I did. And this is yarn, I buy this at Mary Maxim. It's almost always in their discount room. They have some amazing colors. I think there's some more when we get to acquisitions. And it is fairly inexpensive. It's it's called Bee Blue is the colorway. And it is 75-25 washable wool and nylon. So I'm hoping they wear well. I have used quite a bit of this yarn recently and over time for heels, toes, and cuffs because they have all these great solid colors, and so I have it in a variety of colors that just go with different sock sets that I get. And that is in my cute hummingbird bag from Two Sticks and You, and I want to send her out a little love. She's having some health issues right now, and yeah, go support her store if you can. Every little bit will help, I'm sure. I think her shop is still open. I haven't checked, but I just was on Instagram, saw that she's having some health issues and could use all the positive thoughts we have to send her way. And I love her bags. I have quite a few of her bags, actually. So those are finished, and these have a very funny story. These are finished. These are just vanilla socks. I did them on 9-inch circulars. Oh, these blue ones were done on my Addy Flexi Flips, which are when you use 3 needles with a flexible section in the middle. If you haven't tried them, they are lovely. I quite like them. I also like 9-inch circulars though, which this is. This one I'm pretty confident is for my daughter because for some bizarre reason I also cast these ones on in 60 stitches instead of 64, and they won't fit my foot for sure. So I'm doing them for her. And it's just, so they were supposed to be Fish Lips Kiss heels. But I had the first sock completely finished, and for some reason the heel was like offset. Obviously I did something wrong in my short rows. So rather than rip the whole thing out, there's still a sock marker in them, or stitch marker, I went back, I finished that sock. Well, that sock was finished, and I finished the second sock and just did it as a tube and put in an afterthought heel, and I don't know which is which anymore. And then I think this is the one I had to repair. I did a little sock surgery and got this one to the point where it was like this. I hope that's not too choppy. Call from my husband. We are driving my son and his new wife to the airport today to go on their honeymoon. So he was calling me to find out the details, and I didn't want to. It's easier to put pieces together than for me to cut chunks out for whatever reason. That's a me thing. So then, I think this was a whip when we spoke the last time. I haven't blocked it yet because I wanted to show it to you guys, but I need to block it. So this is my Traveler hoodie by Andrea Mowry. It's this beautiful, I don't know, almost like corduroy, right? Like ridged pattern. It's going to grow a bit, I know, when I block it, because it is Barocco Remix, which is, I probably have a skein of it in here somewhere. Yep, right there. It is nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, and linen. And it is incredibly soft. It's going to wear well and wash well, and it's the kind of hoodie that you'll just wear forever and it'll just feel great. It's got this gorgeous folded edge for the drawstring, which I did in this fun variegated pop of color. And then, I don't know if you can see, I did this braid I found it on Instagram. You know, it showed up in my feed in a reel over and over and over again, and I thought, ooh, that'll be cute. Because I won't actually use the drawstring. I just wanted it in there for the heft. It gives the edge of the hood, but also so I could have the fun pop of color. So I'm really excited to have that done. I will be taking this. If you're going to the Prince Edward Island Fiber Festival, I will have this with me, and I'm sure you will see it at some point because it's perfect for those chilly mornings. And Prince Edward Island will be just a little cooler than southwestern Ontario is, you know, because it's in the ocean and things like that. So I'm going to have a quick slurp. That's my husband's cup, but I may claim it, and then I can put stickers on it. Be exciting. And then the week before the wedding, so on the last episode I showed you my Whitby summer shawl in the Juniper Moon Patagonia Cumulus Juniper Moon Cumulus in the rusty orange colorway, which I love, which will also quite likely go with me to Prince Edward Island because it's just a perfect lightweight wrap. It's really nice. And we had been to a wedding the end of July, and partway through the evening at that wedding, the hall got chilly because there were so many people dancing that I think that part of the room was warm, and the other part where we were, which was all on one thermostat, cooled off. And so I thought, my dress for our son's wedding was sleeveless, and the weather was starting to be potentially iffy, and I went, I don't really have anything to wear with that. Like, I hadn't planned for that. So this yarn was an acquisition. I did buy it at the Mary Maxim tent sale in Paris, Ontario. It is Cascade. Oh, I say it wrong every time. Cantata. I always want to say Cantina, and that is wrong. It's merino and cotton. And so I think I cast it on like August 28th or 9th. And it is pretty long. Like, there's lots of it. It is the appropriate length for a wrap. I love this lace work. I love that it's not deep, like really deep. Like, it's about, I don't know, 15 inches maybe. I probably could block it to more if I wanted to. But it is a really nice, my dress was navy blue, solid, no sequins, and this was perfect. As it turned out, it did rain that day, so there was a bit of a chill in the air. It stopped just in time for them to wipe off the chairs for the ceremony. So I got that finished. And in my acquisitions, you will see I bought yarn for another one because I had a request, so you'll see that. I really like this wrap. It's quick and easy to knit. It's done on a fairly good size needle, I think a 7mm or something like that. And it's like a dead easy pattern, right? Like, once you get it going, you know exactly where you are all the time. And this cotton merino is really soft and yeah, and more summery than my rusty orange colored one, because that one for sure is a fall colorway, even though it's done in that beautiful cumulus lightweight cotton. It's gorgeous too. So I did that because, you know, you might need a wrap for the wedding, and the week before is the time to start it. I think there was a book out because we had, my husband has 6 sisters, and there are now 3 sister-in-laws. No, only 2 left, because my husband has 4 brothers. 3 were married, one's wife has passed away, and there's 2 of us. So we get together every year and do something fun. And this year we we just went to local to me, my brother-in-law's farm, and we had a picnic and sat on the back deck and chatted, and his grandkids were over all the time, so it was great. It's really nice to spend time with them, not necessarily with their parents, because they just popped back and forth, which was fun. And yeah, I knit like a fiend on this. And then that was on the Wednesday, I think, and then the following Sunday, which was the Sunday of Labor Day weekend, my husband's family normally has a family get-together picnic, and it's usually at our house lately. And so that was still happening, even though everyone wasn't coming, because the next weekend was the wedding, which meant like some people live further away, like Ottawa and places like that. It was a lot of coming and going. So we ended up everyone wasn't there, but we had quite a few people over that day too. And I was still knitting on it. I did get it finished in time. I did not block it, but I also don't think it needed to be blocked. Like, I'm really happy with it. And I wore it because, that's how I roll. If I hadn't gotten it finished, I do have a perfectly serviceable woven alpaca, more scarfy, like lighter weight than this wrap that came from Peru. We had a Rotary Exchange student several years ago, and he brought it to me, and it's beautiful. And it's periwinkle sort of, so it's a little lighter blue than my dress was, and it would have been perfectly fine. But I knit this too, so, double duty. So the final finished object, oh no, not the final, I'll show you that one last. The next finished object, and I don't know if I had started this, I think he was in pieces last time we talked. He still needs an initial on his jersey, but this is a little cotton rabbit. His feet are a bit wonky, so I don't know what I did. I must have knit them on different days, and my tension was a bit different, so one is a bit larger than the other, but that's okay. He's a bunny. It'll just make him hop faster one way. He has little shorts on. And I knit him out of, and I have a whole bag of this, so I can put them together pretty quickly if I want to. Lion Brand 24/7 cotton, and then the face, I embroider the face on when I'm giving it to a baby. I know some people use the safety eyes, but I don't want that responsibility. So I embroidered on the eyes, which took a couple tries. It does have a small button on the shirt, but it is sewn on very well. And his shirt has a open seam, so you can get it over his head, because like a baby, he has a very big head for the size of the rest of them. But he's going to go to a little person who was born not that long ago. Pretty excited. I get to start another one. One of my nieces is having a baby, so I really like knitting these. They're fun. They don't take, I knit all the pieces pretty much one Saturday, and it wasn't the only thing I knit on. I do find it's a bit hard on my hands because the cotton is knit at a fairly tight gauge to keep the stuffing in. You have to do that. Another friend of mine does hers often in merino, so I might try that, although I don't think it's as mom friendly, but that's okay. I'm sorry, the sun is coming out and I don't think I can do much about the light, but anyway, it is what it is. Then I have had this sugar bush chill, and you guys have been on here for a while. You know that I started hoarding sugar bush yarn when I found out they were going out of business. This is a 6 weight, which is super bulky. The colorway is Imperial Fire. It's 100% extra fine merino, and 100 grams is 48 meters. And I had I must have had a dozen or more. I still have 4 and a bit left. It is not very spun, as you can see. Like, there's a bit of twist to it, but just ever so tiny bit. And I did had some scraps that I carted out, thinking I might be able to use them as stuffing in something. But I love these colors. I love orange. Orange is like top of my list. It's not a color I wear really, really well, but I decided that maybe at one point I went, oh, but it could be a lot colder in Prince Edward Island. So maybe my traveler won't be enough with just like a vest or something. And so then I made this because, you know, and I'll try and get some pictures of it with me on. It does do a bit of weird pooling here in the sleeve a little bit, but I'm okay with that. This, I'll have to get a picture of with me in it, and maybe I can put it in. Since I've already chopped it up, I'm going to have to do some editing of some sort. Look at this twisted rib, and on the collar, and this is the same yarn crocheted with a really small hook to make the toggles and loops. It is like butter, just butter. It is so soft. This is a pattern by Cadre. It is the Moxie jacket. And in my ideal world, I would have found denim blue or orange, or denim blue and orange toggle buttons, but I can always change them out. I can find them. And I did the recommended 3, but I'm going to try it and see what I think. I might go to 5 and put 2 in between the ones that are already there. My hair is all over it. Anyways, this took like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days to knit. Like, it took no time at all. It is knit on, I have the needles in here somewhere, I think. This is the main body needle. It's a 15. And this is the ribbing needle. And I used a 12.75, not because of gauge, but because I couldn't find a 12. Like, that was the best I could do. I had to search a lot to find needles this big. Like, that's what held me up making it, because I've had the pattern queued for quite a while. But yeah, it's knit back and forth, but not a big deal. The sleeves are knit in the round. Also, I do have a sore shoulder from flipping it while I was doing the sleeves, because that's a thing. But I'll try and get a picture of me wearing it to pop in, so you can see what it looks like on. It feels amazing and it fits really nice. Like, I am very happy with it. So that is all of my current finished objects. And then there's the whips, because, you know, I knit that sweater because I might need it. And then, and this yarn is also an acquisition, which I will talk about the yarn more in acquisitions. I picked up some, well, I'll talk about it now. Some Anchor Bay, Cascade Anchor Bay, which is a 50-50 cotton superwash merino. So I picked up these 3 colors. And I am knitting another Tolsta. So this is the same sweater that I have on. I don't know if you can see. This is like an orangey red, and the yellow is really bright. I have to show you my stitch marker, my beginning around marker, because I really like it and it goes really well with my sweater. What I did for this one, because I was watching Rebecca, the Creabea's podcast, and she had done this with one. I cast on 2 sizes smaller of than I normally need. I think I don't know if I wear a 4 or 5. I cast on 100 stitches and should have done 108 or something like that. Cast on 2 sizes smaller for the ribbing, knit it as directed, and then immediately increased to my size and carried on. This is just a basic raglan tee. And I cast, so today's Friday the 29th. I cast this on Tuesday evening or Wednesday evening. I posted it in my stories. Anyways, I've divided for sleeves. I'm in the round and round. Yeah, I like the way it feels. I love the way the colors are coming together. I'm doing 40 row stripes, including the ribbing on this one. And I'll do 40 rows of yellow, and then I'll do 40 rows of navy, and that should just about do it. Then I'll go back and finish off the sleeve. I'll make the sleeve a bit longer just so it looks more balanced with the body, but it probably will not have navy on it. Like, that's the plan. Because I might need this for Prince Edward Island. And oh, it's Friday. I'm leaving next Thursday. Yeah. And it will definitely have to be blocked before I can wear it. I know. Stay tuned. Check that stuff out later to see if I actually finished it. I don't have, so I do have more whips, but not things I'm working on. So I finished my other vanilla socks, and last Friday evening, my husband referees men's league hockey, and it's every Friday evening, and I get tired of being home on Friday evenings all the time, and I used to have other things that went on Friday evenings, and the kids used to have things, but the last few years it's just been me at home. Okay, I don't know how bad this sun is. It should get high enough shortly that we'll be okay. It's just been me on home on Friday evenings, and I feel a bit sorry for myself sometimes because, you know, that's a thing. In my head, the rest of the world is out doing things on Friday evening. I know you're not. I know that in reality, most of you are doing exactly the same thing I am, staying home and knitting, but you just feel sorry for yourself. So I decided I wanted to go see My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. That's not a movie my husband would even want to watch at home necessarily. And I knew this one was set in Greece, and so I knew there'd be some great scenery, and it would be lovely, and, you know, it's funny. It's just a rom-com, whatever. My little theater in Tilsonburg is much less expensive than going to the theaters in the big city. It's only 10-15 minutes from my house. The popcorn's cheaper. All the things. So I went to the movies by myself. I wasn't the only woman there by myself. Ironically, there were no men there by themselves, but that's fine. So I needed something to knit in the movie, and I'd finished my Wildflowers, these socks, which I don't think I said were in one of my Yarnable box colorways. Yarnable boxes are by Hypnotic yarns, and they're amazing. Too bad our dollar's not worth anything, because that's why I don't get it anymore. So anyways, I decided to cast on another vanilla sock. I am in love with this colorway. It is so muted and lovely. And it's just a 2x2 rib, 64 stitch vanilla sock, obviously on 9-inch circulars. And these are probably 2mm. This is the yarn. So it is, the company is Rellana Garn, and it's from Germany. Flotte Sock 4F, I think must mean 4-ply. And Christmas is the line, not the color. The color is 2801. But it's this really nice, muted, old-fashioned Christmas colors, which I think will be great for my boys. But, you know, I'm still in the leg. And I'll probably just knit a really big tube and do an afterthought heel on those. so as not to disrupt the pattern. And yeah, I think I got the whole cuff done, maybe a bit more at the movie, and didn't make any mistakes. That's the best part. Often when I movie knit, I end up ripping it out afterwards because, yeah, that's all. I end up ripping it out afterwards. So the next thing that I know for sure I worked on, and you're not going to be able to see it, like it's not going to look like I did anything, but I did work on my half and half triangles wrap. And I only have this many more stitches to incorporate before I start doing the decreasing. But the rows are pretty long right now, so it just takes, I can work on it for an hour and maybe I've done 4 rows. But it'll get done. This is done in Cottage Craft and in the Blackberry colorway, Briggs & Little, Durasport in, I don't know if it's white or natural, one or the other. And because I played Yarn Chicken on the Blackberry side, there's a little bit of Juniper Moon Patagonia in Wasabi and Navy to look like I meant it to happen. So there's a little half and half in the corner. And this is not going to Prince Edward Island with me because it could still take weeks to finish. But this is great. This is often early morning knitting. Now that it's cooler, it's perfect because it covers my legs. And that's a good thing this time of year because I am still wearing shorts, even though it's not really warm enough in the morning first thing for shorts, but I am. Then, and that is in my, I didn't say who the bags were. This one is in my Alice in Wonderland bag by Wild Strands bags. I will try and, I got this at Yarnit's grand opening last year on one of my road trips. Yarnit is in, I think, Coburg. This one is a Dolphina for Timber Yarns. Their sock cube that I got with a Christmas sock set I got a few years ago. I love these little bags. I have a couple of them. They're the perfect size for a pair of socks. And because they have a good handle, I can hook it onto the handle of my purse, if that's a thing. Or I can, it just goes over my arm and I can knit from it, which is great. So those are lovely if you ever see any of those. This is in my thread and maple bucket that was part of last year's breast cancer fundraiser that they did with Louie and Lola and the Grocery Girls. And this is the Sunshine and Hope socks, and also on my Addy Flexi Flips. And I am just a teeny bit into the pattern. This pattern was done by Tracy Miller. And I don't know if I was this far last time. I didn't check, I'm sorry. But this is television knitting, but not reading knitting. And yeah, I would like to get them done soon though, because I really like them. And this is the Sunshine and Hope sock set by Louie and Lola Yarns. And I hope you can see that because the sun is shining right in my eyes, so I can't see it. But I think it might be okay for you. And they're just, I love this little leather bucket. Sits on my coffee table. Smells like leather. I believe they are doing another collaboration, these 3 wonderful makers, this year. So looking forward to seeing that. I know they're doing a fundraiser. Check out the Grocery Girls. They're, you know, it's not about winning, but it's about getting the word out there so we can raise as much money as possible for cancer research. It's a thing that I've near and dear to my heart. I've participated in it for many years, in different ways, and yeah, check it out. There's ways to participate without buying the kit as well, so go for that. There's tons of prizes. Rumor has it, tons of prizes, so check that out. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is before I go into acquisitions, if you watch Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, she is doing a crazy, oops, this one's all coming apart, Crazy Spooky Mal, and it really is just a fall participation, whatever yarn gives you fall vibes, sock make along. It's still a mess. So I went into my stash to pull out some things that I thought fit the vibe. All of these, look at this. All of these are a mess. So I pulled out this one. This is a Leo and Roxy Batshit Crazy sock set in 80/20 merino nylon. And the main color is Batshit Crazy, and this is McSteamy. This is one of their regular colorways, McSteamy, and I don't know if Vixen is always in, but McSteamy they always have. So I'm planning to cast these on. I also have this Leo and Roxy's basic sock set, and it doesn't have a colorway, but it's their work sock marl and a really nice mustard, which is like the color these days, and this red, which I'm planning to do work sock like socks. So I'll put those colors together and do a stripy cuff and then the marl. I'm gonna skein all these up today. I have Ginger Snap. This is their 75/25 merino nylon base. And this one is called Blaze. It's kind of campfire vibes. I really like this. This felt very fall to me. And this is Area 51. And it is their 80/20 superwash merino and nylon fall rainbow. So I really like this. I'm excited to see how this knits up. It'll be self-striping. I'm thinking I might do this one in a pattern, more of a pattern. Like, I think I'll do these ones ribbed, these in a pattern, maybe heel and Kay Litton's heel toe do-si-do, the Crazy Sock Lady pattern. Like, it looks good in self-striping. This one I might do in my pattern again. And this I don't know yet. Maybe just vanilla. It's always good to have an extra vanilla sock on the go. So those are things from my stash that are not too distant future knitting. I also have pulled out upstairs a gray and white marled wool that's just it is Patton's Superwash DK 100% wool, and I have enough of that to do Andrew Mowry's new Weekender crew. And I don't have a Weekender, and I thought that would be nice yarn for that pattern. And I'm thinking of adding a little bit of red and cream to give it that, on the cuffs, to give it that work sock vibe. Because it's going to be that cozy, comfy, weekend, comfortable sweater. And I do prefer a boat neck or a crew neck to a boat neck, which her other weekenders were, which is probably what kept me from knitting them. So I'm kind of glad she came out with this pattern. And I'm looking forward to doing that. So the next thing, I have all these ball bands. I had a little visitor yesterday evening. A friend of mine, has a baby who is, well, she'll be 2 in January, so she's 19 months old now, 18, 19 months old. And I'm her godmother, so I have special privileges. Anyways, her parents were out yesterday evening for a couple hours, and so she was over, and all kinds of things that I'm sure I will find things in this bin I have sitting beside me that I don't know are there, because she was adding things to the bin. So who knows? Yeah, so I did a little bit of shopping this month since we last chatted. I showed you the Anchor Bay that I got, that I'm working my Tolsta. I started casting it on this light gray and decided that that was too boring. So I do have a few more of those, and this really lovely darker red. These were in the sale bin. Like, always check the sale tables, ladies and gentlemen, because you never know what treasures you will find. That little Tolsta t-shirt I'm knitting will have cost me less than $20 when it's done. I know I'll have a lot of time in it, but I bought the yarn on the sale table. And you know what? That yarn needs a home too. And it's okay if you're the one who buys it. And then I also picked up there that day 4 skeins of this Katya Concept Cotton Merino Volume. I don't know if it's blown or chainette. I don't know, you can't really tell. It is extra fine merino and cotton, and the ratio is 50-50. There's a lot of languages on here, and 50 grams is 100 meters, so 200 meters in 100 grams. And my daughter asked for, my oldest daughter, she used my wrap at the wedding too. Asked for one for herself, and she wanted it in pinks and pinky peachy colors. So this is, I would say, more almost nude would be the color I would call it, but it is a pinky peach. And so I picked that up. I am not sure if 200, like, the one for the wedding I did 300 grams. It's much longer than the one I did. The rust one I did was only 200 grams. This is 200 grams, but I'm not sure if this will be long enough. I haven't swatched yet, so I'm gonna do some math on that. But I also picked up a navy and a white in case I needed more, thinking that this would also make a really nice, these would make really nice Sophie scarves. The little ones, not the big one, the little ones. If I didn't end up using it for that. So I got those at the Little Red Mitten, because you know, I never brought it out to show you. I'll try and remember to show you next time. One of the young women I support wanted to do a pottery class, so when I take her to do those things, I do whatever she's doing. So we did this pottery class in the summer, and I got the call to go pick up our finished pieces. So when I got there at the place where the pottery class was, I was only about 10 minutes from a garden center I really like, and I wanted to pick up some more mums for my garden and some asters and a few other things, fall plants, to just beef up the fall colors. So I said, well, I'm really close, I'll go there. So I went there. When I'm there, I am only 5 minutes from the Little Red Mitten. I live an hour away. I had to go because then I was only 5 minutes away. So I went to the Little Red Mitten. Did I need any yarn? Absolutely not. But did I find some really great deals? You betcha. And that, my friends, is why you stop. Because you never know what you're going to see. They also got a lot of new stuff in, and they have some beautiful stuff. I have to knit some of my stash, which is, I'm glad. I'm in sort of a 50-50 right now of stash versus new yarn, but I got to get my stash down because it doesn't fit in the cubbies as well as it should, and I don't have any room in my little craft area to add more cubbies. There are probably things I could get rid of that are in those cubbies that I don't really need, because all the kids crafts are still there. Like, there's boxes with pipe cleaners and felt and foam, craft foam, and all this stuff that I certainly don't use. But you never know when a child might pop over and need a craft fix, and I have them. So then the other place I went shopping was I'm going to set this on my lap so it's out of the way, was Mary Maxim. And I got the yarn for that wrap that I did for the wedding. I got that there. And they had their 10th sale on. So these yarns were like really, really reduced and really good prices. And so I picked up some more. So I bought more yarn. I picked up this Rellana Fashion J Golden Socks 4-ply. It's $75.25, and this actually has all the fall vibes too. Maybe that needs to go into my October cast on pile. That's really good. Most of these I got with the guys in mind, because sometimes it's hard to find really nice colorways for the guys. This is Lion Brand Sockies. I've not knit with this one before. I have with the Rellana before. This is $75.25 as well, but it feels just like a little finer maybe, but it feels like Croy or West Yorkshire Spinners or any of those. And then I got, does it say what the colorway is? Dark and Stormy. It's appropriate. This one is the same, and it's Martina. I hope you can see it. I hope there's not too much light. It was appropriately overcast when I came out here. Who gave this clouds permission to go away? This is another Rellana, and this one is just a number, but this is nice bright colors. I think it's going to be kind of jacquardy. This is another Sockies. This one's called Sidecar. I really like these colors too. These are colored, and these are all colors like not the Martini and the other one, but the darker colors are all colors my boys will wear. I did pick up a couple of these Nubu Lyocell to do some knitted knockers, because I'm hoping to get to the Fiddlehead Fiber Festival again, and they do a collection, so I will do up some of those. This is the colorway Blush, and it's one of the yarns approved by, not that you can see that in the glare, by Knitted Knockers. That's a Lion Brand yarn as well. And then, and I'm assuming I must have got a real deal on this, I picked up a bunch of this Estelle Superwash Merino Fine. These are 50 grams or 150 meters, 100% merino, and I got white, kind of a navy royal blue, black, this really pretty magenta, purpley pink color, some gray, Another one of the magenta. I got 2 of each of the colors and 4 of the white, which I have no idea if that's enough to do something with, but I figured I could make that work for something, like maybe a colorwork sweater or something like that. And I think I only paid $3 a piece for those. Like, it was their 10 sale. These are probably discontinued colors or discontinued styles, or they're not going to keep them or whatever. But it would make a nice sweater. And then this is that solid colored sock yarn that I pick up there whenever I get a chance. Navy and a beige, which I thought would work well with some of these other socks I got for either heels and toes or accents or whatever. So that was good. And even the yarn, the Cantata that I bought, was full price, but it was the day they do their fill a bag thing. So anything you can fit in one of their bags is discounted. So even the full price yarn was discounted, which was kind of nice. I also picked up, now it'll be interesting to see if I actually do these, but they were a good deal. 2 plastic canvas kits. This one is So Much Fun, and it comes with the frame and everything. And I do like doing plastic canvas sometimes. I like needlework. The trouble is I love knitting. And then I really like this one, Peace on Earth. And they were like, well, $10, and they have everything, even the needle. So, can't beat that. And, sorry for the crinkling. Needle storage is always a problem. Like, I don't care who you are, none of us have our needle issues under control. So I picked up, like, what I would really love to have is one of those beautiful thread and maple needle binders. And if I win the lottery, I mean, I love them. They're worth every cent. Do not get me wrong. They're just not in my budget right now. This was, I think it was $2.50. I am now kicking myself that I didn't get 2 of them. Oh no, $3.97. And it is just for fixed circulars. But I think I have quite a few more than will fit in this. I currently have them in a zipper pouch, which works, but they don't actually all fit in it anymore. So there's like cords sticking out everywhere, and yeah, you know, it's not my favorite. It wouldn't be my first choice of a fabric, but it works, and it will store my needles. I am confident that will happen. So I think that's everything I got at Mary Maxim. And then I was on, so just so you know, you can get stuff everywhere, right? I think I was on the Temu app, and I found, I just came across this, and I really liked this print. I'm sad it's not on the back, but that's okay, for a Notions pouch. And you know, I know it's not as well made as the beautiful ones that all the lovely handmade makers do and all of those things, but I need quite a few of them because I like to have them spread around in every project bag, because otherwise I am always looking for things when I'm out and about. And I also found this little corduroy drawstring pouch. Interesting. This is how you know it's not from a real maker. It says on it, "Time to freedom," in very poorly translated English. Not contain harmful matter to person. Eco-friendly products. I'll either pick it off or I'll put something over top of it. But it is the perfect size little sock bag, and it will hold a project just as well. And yeah, it is cute. It's a nice fall color too, which is helpful. And I also got this one, which is a little embroidered daisy pouch. And I mean, there's no pockets or anything in them. but they're $3 or $4 on there, and they come fairly quickly. And I know I'm contributing to the China mass mess. Don't call me out. I am fully aware I'm doing it, but I needed a few more project bags. And yeah, then, because, you know, I did need a few more. Then, look at this. This came yesterday. You wouldn't have seen this if I'd recorded yesterday either. Instagram's the worst. Because, you know, people announce that they've released things, and you go, oh my goodness, if I don't order it fast, I won't get it. This is from Yellow Petal Handmade. If you aren't familiar with them, go follow them on Instagram, and I will link them below. Oh, I haven't even opened it up yet. It came in a lovely compostable mailer, which, opened properly, you can use again for something else, which I will. I got this. Look at this yumminess. Isn't that yummy? And look at the inside. Just the cutest little, oops, let me pull on the right string. Drawstring bag, perfect for a Sophie scarf or a pair of socks or a hat. It's just a nice size project bag. Has a little handle so I can, again, hook it to my purse or carry it over my arm, and I just love this fabric. And this is a color I cannot wear, but I like. So having a project bag is the perfect answer. And her project bags are very reasonably priced, I have to say. And then I also got this one. Look at that. So this screams fall to me as well. I think it's because it's on the dark background. I'm not sure, but I really like it. And this one has a nice pink, there's their name, blushy pink lining. So I'm pretty excited. I think I'm okay for project bags for a little while now. So that was exciting. And then, really exciting news, a new yarn shop has opened up in Woodstock, Ontario. And downtown, I mean, we have, so the only other spot in Woodstock is closer to me than St. Thomas, where Little Red Mitten is. Little Red Mitten has always been the closest, you know, higher and indie dyed yarns, those kinds of things, yarn shop to me. Now this one just opened is the Thoughtful Artisan, and oh, I should open it. I wonder what is in here. This is my little goodie thank you from Yellow Petal Handmade. Excuse me, I'm erratic and get distracted easily. Oh, a little thank you note from them. I'll show you the card, so I will link them down below, but oh, and a corner bookmark to match my bag. I love these. Some of my friends on the Instagram use these. Look at that. Perfect. What a great way to use up the bits. Isn't that a lovely thank you? Anyway, back to the Thoughtful Artisan. She used to have a traveling yarn shop, so she would go to festivals and things like that. She has a trailer, and you know, so you could find her there. But obviously, a trailer limits what you can carry, and because she was not traveling all the time, this was obviously a side hustle for her. It meant that you couldn't always find what you were, you know, you couldn't anticipate in advance what you would find. Like, she was limited by space and things like that, but still a great way to go. But now she's open to bricks and mortar. Limited hours, so be sure to check before you go. But she has some beautiful stuff. And so a couple of friends and I went to see and to support for her grand opening. And she had, and I've always wanted some of this yarn, but I wanted to see it in person and hadn't been able to. Richard DeVries was doing a trunk show. So I picked up this skein. And at the time I thought it was going to be socks, but now I think it might be a Musselburgh hat. This is Warp Speed Dark Matter. And I just love it. It's got all the colors in it. And it is a 80-20 merino nylon. Very soft. Yeah. I'm very excited about this. Cast that on soon. Don't know when. And she had some West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas colorways. So I picked up Nutcracker in the sparkle base. Can you see the sparkles? Look at that. It's pretty true. And this one is called Hollyberry. And similar colors to the pair I'm knitting now, but this will be more, I don't know if there's a picture on here. No, this will be more of a jacquard than a, these will be more like a patterned Fair Isle kind of looking socks than the other one is. But I picked those up. It's always nice to have a new yarn shop open close to you because so many of them are closing. It's crazy. I also got some Highland Coo stitch markers. Not stitch markers. Needle stoppers. And because I spent a lot of money, because that's always the deciding factor. I also got this lovely gift from her, one of her pins, which is great. I'm kind of happy. That will remind me to talk to people about the Thoughtful Artisan. Anne is lovely if you need help picking out anything. And there's tons of parking near her shop. My eyebrows were doing funny things the whole time and none of you told me. That might be better. I don't know. You probably can't see me anyway because of the glare. Who knows? Anyways, Anne is great at helping with picking out colors, suggesting yarn. So if you're in Woodstock, be sure to check out her hours. And if it works for you, stop in because that will be a good thing. Yeah, I also may have done a couple of other crazy things. One, I'm going to the PEI Fiber Festival next week, which is pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, you won't see it until next episode, but I virtually shopped at my friend Robin Oak's yarn shop, the Close Knit Friends, because she celebrated her 1-year shop anniversary. So that was pretty exciting. My friend Heidi, who you've all heard about, was there, and she video chatted with me so I could pick out some yarn for a couple of special projects. So I'll be picking that up when I get together with them in Prince Edward Island at the Fiber Festival. And we're going to see lots of other friends. I'm pretty excited. I'm sure I'll see Nancy from Knit Sip Happy, and Yarn Indulgence will be there, and I love their yarn. And I'll see Leanne and Heather and the gang from St. John, and Sophie, and I bet Manon will be there. It is going to be fun seeing all the people who I haven't seen for a while, who I follow and who I've met in person at different times. I love my East Coast yarn peeps. I feel like in some ways they get me more. I actually know more knitters there than I do here, which it probably is just because it's the East Coast to start with. Like, who knows? Who knows? So I'm doing that. And Heidi and I may have done a super crazy thing. Because, you know, sometimes you just have to go for it. And we had talked about it beforehand because it had been briefly mentioned as a possibility. So when we finally got the notice, we kind of jumped all over it. We are going on the Grocery Girls knitting retreat cruise next spring to Alaska. I can't wait. So now you will see me knitting all the things I need for the cruise. I do have to do some Christmas knitting before that, but I'm pretty excited. And the bonus, Alaskan cruises in May and early June are still cold enough to wear sweaters. We'll be able to wear all the things. It'll be so exciting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Heidi sends me links like every day of, of things I need to know about. She will have done all the research and everything we need to know, and I'll just be able to ride in on the coattails because that's me. Although I do admit I have done some research because I do like some information. I just don't need all the information. We've already been checking out which yarn shops are at our ports of call and things like that. So that's going to be fun. I can hardly wait to be with all the knitters. And I am so glad we jumped on it because it's sold out like poo instantly. So pretty excited. Now I just have to figure out how I'm going to pay for it. You know, it's good news. And I'm caught up. I've paid all the things I have to pay now, and I don't have to pay more until February. So I do try to make sure that my crazy hobby does not impact our family's budget too much. Because, you know, it can get out of control. I do need to stop. Anyway, I have one more thing here to show you because it's a lot of fun. Our son got married on September the 9th, and he's the first of our children to get married, and him and his lovely wife, Mallory, have been together for quite a few years. We feel like, I mean, she's part of our family already, always has been, so that's great. But they had a caricature artist at their wedding between the ceremony and the reception during the cocktail hour. And before they, you know, we obviously couldn't be there right away because we had some family obligations that we had to, you know, we had to be in pictures and things. But when they went off to do their own thing, John and I sat for this guy. And this is our picture. I see us in this. It is a caricature, but I see us in this, so that's kind of fun. And he captured some of the things like the ruffle on my dress, which I was quite impressed with. My husband did not have a rose in his mouth. But I really like this picture. And then this is the one he did of Neil and Mallory. It's just a photocopy of theirs. But that was kind of a fun thing to have at a wedding. It gave the guests something to do while they were waiting and in between the wedding and the reception, so that was kind of fun. Not a whole lot else is going on in my world. I will be, hopefully I'll talk to you again before that, but I'll be heading east for the PEI Fiber Festival. I won't talk to you before that, but maybe afterwards. Maybe I'll get some footage. I'm terrible at that, just so you know. And then I will be going down to spend some time with my mom and my dad. My mom was up for the wedding, which was really nice, and so was my Aunt Anne, the one I take to Florida, who lives in Quebec City. She was up. That was also really nice, and I'm going to pick her up on my way east to take her down to visit with her brothers for a little bit. And yeah, so I'll spend some time with them this fall. And we are once again planning getting her back to Florida so she can spend some time at her place down there, because it is really good for her to be not in Quebec City. Winters are just not fun. They get a pile of snow. They're set up for it. They know how to deal with it and all those things, but it is not easy for an older, like for a senior, and for getting around and driving. It just, yeah, it's not great. That's okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The week after PEI is Woolstock, so if you're in the Hamilton, Brantford, Woodstock area, that will be at the Paris Fairgrounds, and it is the 14th, I do believe, and I'm going to volunteer. Hopefully, as long as they call me. I volunteered to volunteer, so hopefully I will get a call that they need me. I'm assuming they will, because all those kinds of places are short. So if you see a call for volunteers at your local yarn event, be sure to go for it, because there are there's a shortage, and if they don't have enough volunteers, then the events won't happen, and that's just the way it is. If you want to be able to go out and spend time with your yarny friends, sometimes even if you just volunteer a couple of hours, if lots of people volunteer for 1 or 2 hours, that makes a big difference. And that way you still have time to hang out with your friends. Yeah, so that's it for today. My pupper is laying on the grass over here, and he doesn't know, but I guess it's his nephew. I have no idea. What does your dog call your children's dog? I don't know. He's coming for the 3 weeks. Our son and daughter-in-law are away on their honeymoon. Lupin may need a holiday after that, because we love Malcolm to bits. He's a wonderful dog. He's maybe you'll get to see him. He's a Boston French cross. So Boston Terrier French Bulldog cross. He does parkour on the furniture. And you know, Lupin is a nearly 12-year-old laid back old guy who feels his age but doesn't always remember it and will play until he hurts. So we have to keep an eye on them. Last weekend we left the two of them home for an hour, and Lupin was limping when we got back. They were only home alone for an hour, because normally they would be, Lupin's always out and on his own, but Malcolm, that's a bit more freedom than he usually gets at home, and apparently they played hard while we were gone. No one got into the liquor cabinet, no broken furniture, but someone was limping. They'll be fine. And that's kind of it for today. Hopefully I'll get this up quickly. I will talk to you all again soon. I hope you are enjoying knitting on your porches. Thank you so much for those who returned and made it to here. And if you're new, sometimes my episodes are long and sometimes my episodes are not. It just depends on how crazy I've been and how much knitting I've gotten done and how much shopping I've done. Shopping is another issue. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out on my front porch with me. I'm so glad I got one episode in on my front porch this year. It's not been easy. See y'all next time. Happy knitting, and, you know, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the things. I appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Bye.